Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing today? Happy Thursday to you. My name is Shelly. Welcome back to another live lesson. Like I said last Thursday, I promised I would do another one today. I'm not lying. I'm trying to get back into the groove of it. I want to be able to do at least one live lesson weekly, and that'll probably be on the Thursdays. So I hope you guys join me. If you're watching this on the replay, come try to join me live next time. If you prefer a different time of the day or different day, just let me know as well. We've got a lot of things we're going to do today. Today's focus, just like last week, the focus was all about speaking. We're going to continue with that focus today as well. Our lesson is going to be all about speaking. And today we're going to be practicing making questions. Let me just get a little organized here. Also want to show you guys, I've got my Canadian coffee mug here. This is Tim Hortons. It's a really famous donut shop in Canada. I don't think it's actually Canadian anymore. I think they might have sold it to an American company, but I'm still repping the Canadian flag here, especially with all of the political turmoil that's going on right now. I got to represent Canada. So as always, if you're new to the channel, this is your first time watching a live video. Basically, we're going to be doing an English lesson online. And I always like to put the lesson onto the screen as well. That way everybody can see the lesson. We can all be on the same page as well. And the lesson you can see is right there. So as I said last week, we focused a lot on questions. Speaking. We focused a lot on speaking last week, and we're going to continue in that theme. The speaking section today, though, it's going to be mainly focused on questions. All right. We want to practice as many questions as we can. And specifically today, our questions are going to be 3 different types of questions. And let me just make this as big as I can. All right, so the 3 question types that we are going to follow are requests, permission, and indirect questions. All right, so request, permission, and indirect questions. Now, before we get into the speaking part, let's go over how do we make these questions? What's the grammar? What's the pattern? So I've written down, first, let's go over requests. If you want to make a request, so first, let's figure out, what does request mean, right? What does this actually mean? If you want to know what does a request mean, basically a request is, I want something to be done, but I don't want to do it. I want someone to do it. I want you to do it. I don't want to do it. All right. Let's say, for example, it's very hot in this room. Now, there is a window right over there, but I'm sitting down. I'm comfortable. I don't want to get up. I don't want to open the window, but I want you to open it. So I will make a question. I'll make a request. I might say to you, can you open the window? All right. So I've given a few different types of requests here. I've got can, could, and would. And what I'd like to say about that, I'm going to make a new line here. As you can see, I put an arrow because it gets more and more polite. So can is the most casual, then followed by could, which is more polite, and then would is even more polite than that. Now, I said can is casual, but it's not bad. Can is very commonly used. Do not hesitate to use that. I use it all the time. Now, another type of request we can make, which is even more polite. It's more polite than would. We could use do you mind or would you mind? And then we have to put ing verb here. Now, if you notice above, I've got can, could, would. I've got a subject, which is going to be today. We're going to be using the subject you. And then I've got regular verb. Okay, I don't put ing. There's no ed. It's just a regular verb. But do you mind and would you mind? My verb must be ing. All right. Now, one little thing to note here. Today, we're only going to be making the question. We're not going to be answering them. So, but I do want to say, with do you mind and would you mind, these two, it's really important when you answer the question, the style is a little bit different. Yes equals no. No equals yes. All right. So do you mind, would you mind means, is it a problem? Is it a problem? So no, it's not a problem. So no means yes. Yes, I will do it for you. All right. Next type of question we're going to study today is permission. All right. Request means I want you to do something. Permission is different. Permission means I want to do something. I want to do something, but I don't know if it's okay or not. Let's say the same example. You know, it's very hot in this room. There's a window over there. But this is not my room. This is not my house. It's your house. So I can't just go and open the window because it's not my house. I have to ask you. It's your house. So I would make a sentence, can or could or may. Okay. Again, we're going more and more polite. So may I, today for permission, we're going to be using the subject I. May I open the window? May I open the window? That's a question I would ask you. That means I want to open it, but I'm asking you, is it okay? Now, more polite, even more polite than may I. Again, we've got do you mind? We've got do you mind? Sorry, I'm messing up here. Do you mind? Would you mind? Okay, but now we've got this new word here. It's going to be if. Do you mind if? And then I actually forgot. We do need to put here I as well. Okay, so there needs to be an I here. I and then the verb. Do you mind if I and verb? Do you mind if I open the window? Do you mind if I open the window? Okay. Now, one thing here with would, I want to say this is also something special. With would, this verb is going to be a little bit different. With this verb, it's going to be the past verb. If I use do you mind, just regular verb is fine. But would you mind, please use the past tense. So would you mind if I opened the window? Would you mind if I opened the window? But do you mind? No past tense. Do you mind if I open the window? All right. So be careful of that when you make the sentence with would. Please use the past verb. All right. Let's go down to next, indirect questions. This is the third type of question that we're going to be using today. An indirect question is just that. It's not direct. Right? If I ask a direct question, my sentence will begin with a WH. What, where, when, why, how? What is your name? Where do you live? What do you do? What time is it? These are all direct questions. But a lot of times we want to make an indirect question because it's very polite. All right, so indirect questions are very, very polite. How do we make an indirect question? I'm going to separate it into two. Okay, so I've got the top and the bottom. The difference is As you can see, I'll make it a little bit smaller so it fits in. The bottom two, we're working with yes, no questions. Top two are WH questions. All right, so it's a little bit different, but to make a question, we've got do you know, then the WH word. Okay, so what, where, when, why, how. Subject, and then verb. All right, so for example, let's try to make this a little smaller as well. This font is too big. All right, let's say the direct question, what time is it? Okay, that's direct. So if I use this direct question and I want to use this pattern, let me just make my arrow, there we go. I want to use this pattern here. Then I'm going to start with do you know? Then I need the WH. Okay, so that's what. All right, so do you know? Do you know what? Okay, that's what. Next, subject. Which one is the subject? Well, it is it. It is my subject. So do you know what? And let's put, I forgot the time. What time is it? Okay, do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? All right, so if I make that into a question, I'm going to put it at the very bottom here. Do you know what time it is? All right. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between do you know and can you tell me? Do you know and can you tell me? There is a very big difference here. Do you know, if you use do you know, that means the person whom you are speaking with, the person who you are talking to, maybe they don't know the answer, right? It's possible they don't know. Now, the second question, can you tell me? We use this when we know the person knows the answer. It's not a mystery. They have the answer. Okay. For instance, if I am lost, I'm driving my car, I'm lost, I don't know where I'm going. And if I see a policeman and I want to get directions, maybe I'm going to the stadium. I'm going to a stadium. So the policeman knows the city. They know how to go everywhere. So I would ask the policeman using, can you tell me? All right, can you tell me where the stadium is? Can you tell me how to get to the stadium? There's so many different questions. Now, if I asked a stranger, just somebody walking on the street, maybe they don't know. Maybe they're a tourist too. So I would say, do you know? Okay. So if the person knows the answer, please use can you tell me? If they don't know the answer, please use do you know? Now let's look at the bottom yes, no question. We're just going to add if instead of the WH. Okay, we're just going to add if instead of the WH. So for instance, let's see. All right, is it a holiday tomorrow? That's a yes, no question. All right, so if I make my indirect question, let's get my arrow again here. All right, so do you know is set. Do you know if? My subject is it. it. Do you know if it, and then I need my verb. My verb, sorry, that scrolled really fast. My verb is. All right, so do you know if it is a holiday tomorrow? Do you know if it is a holiday tomorrow? All right, so if I put it into the sentence here, do you know if it is a holiday tomorrow? Okay, do you know if it is a holiday tomorrow? So we're going to be kind of switching the subject and the verb. Okay, so those are the three ways we can make sentences or questions, and that's what we're going to do. So now is the fun part. We've gone over the grammar. Now it's your speaking part. I don't want to be speaking so much anymore. I'll help you do number one so you understand what the task is. After that, it's up to you. We're going to read a scenario. Number one. Let me see how it looks on the screen. Yeah, it looks okay. All right, number one says, you are in a restaurant and you want to leave, but you haven't paid yet because you don't know how much to pay. All right, so you're sitting at this, you're in this restaurant, you're sitting at the table, you want to leave. You've already finished eating, right? But you haven't paid your money yet because you don't know how much to pay. So what will you ask the waiter? Okay, now remember, you can ask a request, you could ask a permission, or you can ask an indirect question. There's three different patterns you could ask: request, permission, or indirect. All right, and I'll slowly put a couple of different examples. For example, here is a great example of a request. All right, can, could, would. If you wanted to be more polite and you still wanted to make a request, then we would say something like this: do you mind, would you mind, plus verb ing. All right, so let's make a request here. That's what I would do. You know, if I were in this situation, it's either a request or permission. You know, both will work. Maybe I'll do permission here, and I'm going to use could. Could I get the check, please? Could I get the check, please? All right, that's the easy way to know how much to pay. You get the check, you can pay, you can leave. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I'm giving you a scenario. You choose what question type to make. So number two says, you're in a clothing store and you want to try on a jacket before buying it. All right, so you're in a clothing store and you want to try on a jacket before buying it. All right, so do you use can you, could you? Do we use do you mind, would you mind? We use can, could, may I? What would we choose here? If you want to be super polite, then maybe we would use this. Do you mind, would you mind if? And then, of course, there's also indirect questions we could ask. Okay, let me just finish making this banner. You could also use this. Do you know, can you tell me WH? Or maybe it's an if. All right, so what would you choose here? So let's read the situation again. Situation says you're in a clothing store and you want to try on a jacket before buying it. So what will you ask the store clerk? For me, the question I would ask is very simply, can I try this on? Can I try this on? All right, let's go to number 3. You're at a hotel reception and you want to check in, but you don't know what time breakfast is served. All right, so you're at a hotel reception, you want to check in, but you don't know what time breakfast is served. So before checking in, maybe you want to ask about breakfast. So this one here, I'm not making a request. I'm not asking you to do something. Also, I'm not, asking for permission. I don't want to do anything, but I want to know what time breakfast is served. So for me, I would use the indirect question. Do you know, or can you tell me? And WH or if, and subject and verb. Now this one's quite easy because if we look right here, if we look directly at the scenario, it's telling us this is a WH question. Okay, it's telling us this is a WH question. So if I'm at the hotel reception, maybe I'm talking to the hotel receptionist. Maybe I'm talking to the hotel concierge. Maybe I'm talking to the hotel bellhop. They will know the answer to this. So I would use, can you tell me? Because they know, can you tell me? And it's WH question. So what time? I need my subject, breakfast. Now I need my verb, is served. Can you tell me what time breakfast is served? Okay, let's keep moving. Number 4, you are in a library and you see a book on a high shelf. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Sorry. I just want to make sure I can make this big enough. This is number 4. Okay, so you're in a library. You see a book on a high shelf that you can't reach. Yeah, you need help from the librarian. All right, what will you ask the librarian to do? Are you going to be making a request? Are you going to be asking for permission? Or are you going to be making an indirect question? So I can't reach. It's too high. It's too high up here. So in that situation, it would be better if you ask the librarian to do something. All right, so for me, maybe I would ask the librarian, let's make this polite. Would you mind reaching or getting that book for me, please? Okay, would you mind reaching or would you mind getting that book for me, please? All right, so here's a great request. I'm making it very polite. And so with would you mind, remember, I do need to use ing. ing or ing here. Okay, let's keep going to number 5. And remember, anybody here, if you've got a different question, different request, different permission, different indirect question, maybe you used different words, then please leave your answer in the comment section. And I'll let you know if that's correct. There can be numerous answers to these scenarios. And if you've watched my live videos before, or if this is your first time watching it, I like to do scenario training because I think it's very authentic. I think this is the only kind of real way to get practice. So when you're out in the real world, when you're out in the city, you're out shopping, you're out traveling, you might face these types of situations. So it's important to know, what can I say? What can I ask? So by practicing exactly what you will face in the real world, you'll always remember you're going to improve your English. We're not just reading a book or a grammar book. We're actually practicing what to say in so many different situations. And number 5, this situation, it says you're at a bus stop. You need to know if this bus goes to the train station, right? That happened to me so much when I first came to Japan. I didn't know where I was going. I'd be waiting at the bus, or I'd be getting on a train, and I had no idea if it was going to my destination. So I always had to ask a stranger. Okay. Sometimes I would ask the bus driver. I would usually ask a stranger. When I was waiting in line at the bus stop, you wait in front of the bus stop, I would ask a stranger. So for me, I would ask, I would ask an indirect question, right? So I want to know if this bus goes to the train station. So direct question, maybe I would say is, does this bus go to the station, or to the, train station? Does this bus go to the train station? That's a yes-no question. So I need to make a yes-no indirect question. Now, if I'm talking to a stranger, I would use, do you know? Sorry, my typing is so bad today. And then this is yes-no, so I'm going to be using if. Do you know if this bus goes to the train station? Okay. Now I want you to notice one thing here, right? I know it's going to be if, and then after if, we're going to be using this, and then I've got bus. But if you notice here, I don't put go, I put goes. Because in the question, we're using does, right? But when we make the indirect question, if you look, there's no does in here. So we need to change the conjugation of go. We need to follow the direct question style. So the bus, right? If we look at the bus is it. So it go is not correct. It's it goes. So go in this situation, it's matching. Let me just put an arrow here. Go here is matching the bus. All right, so do you know if this bus goes to the train station? Okay, let's keep moving. Let's go to number 6. You're at a cafe and need a napkin because your hands are sticky. You're at a cafe and you need a napkin because your hands are sticky. Sticky means maybe you spilled some sweetener or some sugar or some honey on your hands, and it's got that feeling where it feels like there's glue on your hands. We call that sticky. I hate having sticky hands. All right, so what are you going to ask in this situation? Remember, we do have some people online right now watching. Do not feel shy. Try your answer. You can always put your answer right in the comments section right here. All right, that's where you can put it. I just put a comment in the comment section. So make sure if you have an idea, leave it there. So remember, you could be making a question that's a request, which is like this. You could be making something that's a permission, which looks like this, or an indirect question, which looks like that. So For me, I would actually ask a request. I'm going to ask the waiter to do something. And for me, I'm going to use could in this situation. I always like to be as polite as possible, especially when I'm out in restaurants and cafes. I always feel that the more polite I am, the better service I get, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand. So be polite, you'll get better service, you'll have a better time. For me, could you bring me some napkins, please? Could you bring me some napkins, please? All right, let's go to number 7. You're at an airport and you need to use the restroom, but you don't know where it is. You're at an airport and you need to use the restroom, but you don't know where it is. All right, so this is another great option to make an indirect question. All right, so with an indirect question, I will be using this. Do you know? Can you tell me? What or if, subject and verb. So I want to know where the restroom is. Direct question is, where is the restroom? All right, so I would always ask someone who's working at the airport. I'm not going to ask a stranger. There's so many people working at the airport. It's easy to find someone. I'd probably just find security, and I would ask, because they know where it is. It's going to be, can you tell me? Okay. Can you tell me where the restrooms are? Here I put restrooms because there's more than one room, so I use plural here. So I changed the verb. You could say where the restroom is. That's fine also. Okay, excellent. Let's keep going. Number 8. Remember, anybody with a different answer, leave it in the comment section. We're not going to do a super long video again today. Last week we did about 40 minutes. I think we might stick to that range. I want to keep the lesson moving. I want to keep it quick, keep you stimulated. Anybody who wants a copy of this PDF, please let me know. Reach out to me. You can comment in the comment section. You can email me. You can find my email on my YouTube site. Anybody who wants it. Some people have reached out and I've sent them the PDF. So make sure if you want this to practice at home, you ask me and I'll send it to you. All right, number 8, you're in a meeting and you need to borrow your colleague's pen. You're in a meeting and you need to borrow your colleague's pen. Will you make a request, permission, or a question? All right, so for me, I need to borrow my colleague's friend. This is a really simple request, right? It's nothing too serious. It's your colleague, your coworker, right? I would just say, can I borrow a pen? I'm not going to say your pen because then he doesn't have a pen. I'll say a pen because my colleague probably has more than one pen. So can I borrow a pen? Now, if you wanted to change this, a lot of people confuse borrow and lend. Borrow and lend are often confused. So I'm going to give you another sentence. Started here. Can you lend me a pen? Exactly the same meaning. Both of these are, you are asking your colleague to give you a pen. One, I use the verb borrow. The other, I use the verb lend. And if you noticed, it's the subject I'm using, which is different. Can I borrow? You lend. Okay. Number 9. You're at a train station and you need help carrying your heavy suitcase onto the train. You're at a train station, you need help carrying your heavy suitcase onto the train. Now, I don't know if you live in an area where there are trains for public transportation. I live in Tokyo and there are so many train stations. so many public trains. It is an amazing way to commute around the city. In fact, most people in the city prefer to get around by train because the network of trains here is just unbelievable. You can go anywhere by train. So there are a lot of lines, a lot of people waiting on the platforms. I don't actually take the train. I like to drive, but if you're on the platform waiting to get on the train, there are not a lot of workers. So you're probably going to have to ask a stranger. All right, so I'm going to ask a WH question. An indirect question I'm going to ask. So you're going to ask a stranger. Now, you could ask an indirect question. You could ask permission. Permission means I want to do something. So I probably not, it's not permission. Or I can make a request. And this is a very polite request. This is a big request, right? They're lifting your heavy bag for you. They're helping you. So I would probably go very polite. So I might use this. I would make a request. So I would say, would you mind helping me get my suitcase onto the train? Okay, would you mind helping me get my suitcase onto the train? All right, that would be my polite question. All right, so let's keep moving. Number 10, you're at a restaurant, but your food hasn't arrived yet. You want to ask the waiter about it politely. All right, so what would you do here? This happens, I think it happens to everyone. You're at a restaurant and you're ordering, you've ordered something, you're waiting, and you're waiting. Maybe your friends get their meals, but you still haven't gotten yours. But you don't want to be too aggressive. You want to be polite. What will you ask the waiter? For me, I'm going to go indirect question. Let's put the indirect question banner on the screen here. I would probably say, do you know? Because I'm saying, do you know, even though I'm talking to the waiter, because sometimes the waiter doesn't know what the cook or chef is doing. Right? So they don't really know. I'm going to be very polite, so I'm using do you know? All right, so do you know if my food is, let's go. Do you know if my food will come out soon? Do you know if my food will come out soon? Okay, so come out means come out of the kitchen and onto my table. Okay, again, if you have a different one, let me know. All right, now from number 10 and number 11, we're starting to get a little bit more difficult. All right, let's say you're in a hotel room and the air conditioning is set too low. You feel cold, but you need someone to adjust it. You're trying to make the air conditioner higher, but it's not working. You don't know what's happening. So what would you ask in this question? For me, I would be making a request. And, I would be saying can or could or would you. And so maybe I would call the front desk and I would say maybe, could you send someone up to look at my air conditioner? All right, so could you send someone up to look at my air conditioner? All right, so this is a request. Send someone up because you've called the lobby. The lobby's on the first floor. Your room is higher, so they're going to go up. Send someone up to look at my air conditioner. In this word here, if we're looking at the verb look at, it's kind of like using your eyes to focus on something. But in this meaning, look at means fix. Fix. Could you send someone up to fix my air conditioner? Okay. It also can mean check. Could you send someone up to check my air conditioner? Okay, number 12. You're in a bookstore searching for a rare edition of a novel, but you're unsure if they have it in stock. All right, so you're in a bookstore. You're searching for a rare edition of a novel, but you're not sure if they have it in stock. All right, so for me, I'm talking to a worker. All right. For me, they will know the answer, and I'll say, can you tell me? Now, for me, I would say, can you tell me if you have, and then here you have to put the book title. Book title. Okay, so can you tell me if you have Tom Sawyer in stock? All right, so you're going to put the book title. Can you tell me if you have the book title in stock? All right, let's go to number 13. You are at a cafe and your phone battery is almost dead. You see a power outlet nearby, but you're unsure if customers are allowed to use it. So you're not at like a Starbucks. You're not at like a famous like Tully's or something, or Seattle Coffee. You're not at a huge famous coffee shop chain. So this is a local coffee shop. Your battery is almost dead. Your phone's almost dead. That means the battery is almost run out. You see a power outlet nearby. You have your charger with you. You have your charger with you, but you're not sure if you're allowed to use the outlet. So it's important you ask the cafe staff. All right, so maybe I'll go, it's, my phone is very important. So maybe I'm going to use a very polite question. So I'm going to go, would you mind if I plugged my phone in here? Okay. Would you mind if I plugged my phone in here? May I use the outlet? May I charge my phone at this outlet? There's so many different answers. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Number 14, you're visiting a friend's house and you've suddenly started feeling unwell. You need to ask if they have any medicine. All right. So again, simple question here. I want medicine. I want to ask my friend if they have medicine. Okay. So maybe here I'm going to be very polite. And I'm going to go, would I be able to borrow some aspirin? Now, I said borrow. Now, borrow means, in the real sense of this verb, it means I get something from you, I use it, and then I return it. That's the real meaning of borrow. You're not going to take the medicine, take it out, give it back. Borrow is just a polite way to say, can I have? Would I be able to get some aspirin? Okay, but I want to be more polite, so would I be able to borrow some aspirin? Okay, so different nuance there. Number 15. You're at a conference and you didn't quite catch what the keynote speaker just said. You want to ask the person next to you for clarification. All right, so just make sure everybody knows what this is asking. You're at a conference. There's a speaker. We call that speaker the keynote speaker. It's the final speaker, the main speaker. That speaker said something, but you couldn't catch it. That means you couldn't hear what he said or what she said. So that you look to the person next to you. What will you ask that person? All right. For me, you could use can, you could use could, you could use would. I'm going to be asking a request. I'm going to go casual. Can you tell me what he said? Can you tell me what he said? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. I was going to stop at like a 40 minutes, but we're almost done. This PDF goes up to 20. I'll probably do maybe a couple more, and then I'll give the rest for homework. Number 16, you're in a taxi on the way to an important meeting, and the driver is taking an unfamiliar route. You want to ask if they are sure this is the fastest way. Okay, so you're in the taxi, you're going to a really important meeting, but the taxi is going in a strange route that you don't know. You want to ask if they are sure this is the fastest way. All right, so there's many ways you could ask a question here. I'm going to make a question that I didn't put above. Second, first I'll give you a standard question or a standard question that I would ask. Can you tell me if this is the fastest way? Okay, that's one way. I might ask a different question. I might just say, are you sure this is the right way? Are you sure this is the right way? Okay, so the second question is not something that we studied in the grammar area, but this is also really useful. If you think the person is wrong, you might want to ask, are you sure? Are you sure? And then plus the rest of the details. Okay, let's go to 17. You're at a hotel front desk and you lost your room key. You need to ask for a replacement, but you also need to confirm your identity. All right, this is going to be a little bit longer. You're going to have to give me more information. First, you need to confirm your identity. Next, you need a replacement key. So I'm going to make something really long here. You know, I would say, hi, my name is Shelly. Here is my ID. Would I be able to get another room key? I seem to have misplaced mine. Okay, I've done a very formal, polite question here. So first, I need to confirm identity. So I would begin with my name. Hey, my name is Shelly. Here's my ID. Would I be able to get another room key? Okay, that part I think everybody understands. The second part, I seem to have misplaced mine. This is a very polite way to say, I lost my room key. I misplaced it equals I lost it. But misplaced is more polite. Okay, number 18. Number 18. You're at an electronics store and you've heard they might offer a discount for purchases over a certain amount. You need to confirm this before deciding what to buy. So that in this situation, like the store, maybe they're having a discount if you buy something over a certain amount. That means over $100. If you purchase something over $100, then you will get a discount. Under $100, no discount. But you don't know. So you want to confirm. So you're going to be asking the worker. If you ask the worker, it's always, can you tell me? Okay, so can you tell me? And then next, what would we say? I want to confirm. I want to confirm. So maybe I would say, can you tell me if there is a discount on purchases over, I'm going to say $100 here. Okay, so can you tell me if there's a discount on purchases over $100? Okay, and then next, number 19. You're in an art museum and you want to take a photo of a painting, but you're not sure if photography is allowed. So in this situation, I'll be asking the question, can I take photos here? Okay, that's one way. Another way I might ask, and I didn't put it in the grammar box, but I would say, am I allowed to? Okay, so am I allowed to? If you want to know about rules, what can I do? What can't I do? This is a great question. Am I allowed to take photos here? Am I allowed to eat on trains? Right? Am I allowed to? And then the rule that you're not sure about. Okay, but simple one is also okay. Can I take photos here? Okay, now that leaves us to number 20. Number 20, it says you're at a cafe and the barista got your order wrong. You asked for an oat milk latte, but they gave you regular milk. All right, you need to ask them to remake it politely. This is for homework. You can make a request, you can make a permission, you can make indirect question. All right, so here is my request. Here is my permission. And then, of course, we've got indirect questions. Choose one of those, make a sentence, and for your homework, leave the sentence in the comment section. I'll check all your answers. All right, so number 20 is for homework. You can just pause the video here, and when you know your answer, what question you want to make, just leave it in the comment section. You know, questions are really important. We use them every day. We ask questions a lot. And the 3 different types of questions we practice today are probably some of the more useful ones. We always make requests. We always ask for permission. And we're always making indirect questions because it's very polite. Now, I've got some lessons. I've got some videos on each of these questions separately. So if you want more practice, go check those videos out. I'll put a link in the description for those videos as well. So if you're interested, just go to the link. I'll need to post those links after the live ends, but you'll find the link in there. Anybody watching on the replay, Just go to the description. You'll see the videos for those. And also, everybody watching on the replay, come join me live. The more people we have studying, the better it is to bounce ideas off of each other. We can all improve. And I'd love to meet all of you. So if you have a chance, come join one of my live lessons. But if you can't, that's fine. Just watch it on the replay. And remember, if you have any questions, just ask me down below. All right. If you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. You know, I'm trying to do one live lesson every week. It's a free English lesson where I'm trying to help you speak English. I'm also posting a bunch of videos, so you can check all those out. So subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give a like to this video, this live lesson. Also, you can hit the notification bell so you know when I do my lives. All right, guys, it was great to talk with all of you. It was great to hopefully interact. I hope this lesson helps you. If you have any other lesson that you want to study, just send me a lesson request and I'll make it for you. But as always, I'll see you guys all in the next lesson. See ya.